bull keeps charging away. Oh, you see it. My Bitcoin bull keeps charging away. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble. I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble, I'm the pin. I'm not the bubble, I'm the pin.
You're listening to Any Observation, the best NFT, crypto, and gaming podcast ever. With your host, Anders Bjork.
And we are live once again. I hope everything is as it should with audio, video, and life is okay. So today I have Corvin with me. Very happy to have you on. How are you doing, mate?
I'm fine. Always a little overworked, but thank you for having me.
Nice overworked is good. I can relate to that a lot.
better to have more work than no work.
Yeah, well, overwork is fine if you enjoy what you're doing. It's annoying if it's something you have to do that you don't want to do.
Absolutely, I love what I'm doing, what we're doing. I'm super fine with my team. I'm glad to have them all. I'm glad about the progress and all that.
Nice. Yeah, we will dig into the team and everything in a bit. And like before we go, if anyone need me to adjust sound volume, just poke me and I will do that between us. But before we went live, I had to share that I have the same sweater as you have. My brother has one of those and everything. So where is that from? And I guess that's the good place to get started into the interview today.
It's pretty old merch. It's I think 4 years old from the EOS.io hackathon in London. I was a mentor over there. It still feels like army clothes from the very early days.
Yeah, that was the first year of EOS. It was after the launch, right? Yeah, I think so.
It was before mainnet launch, I think.
Oh, it was.
Oh.
It was during the testnets. Like that whole year for me just goes into the same thing pretty much for me. But you were mentoring there, so what was happening there? And like you were in the EOS.io space before EOS mainnet launched, and then now you're building on EOS and Wax. You have a guild on Wax. Yeah. You're doing a lot of things in the space. So let's start with the journey before EOS, I guess.
Well, my journey starts very early. I think I bought Dogecoin in 2014, right after the launch. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2013.
Did you hold on to the Dogecoin?
No, I sold them in 2017, I think.
Yeah.
With a huge profit, but yeah. I bought them for €5 from a friend.
Yeah.
Directly. I'm in the blockchain space for a while, and I always tried around a lot with Solidity and other platforms, and I never, before EOS came, I never developed anything public because you always were so limited in what you are able to do. And then when there was the EOS ICO, I was incredibly interested in the technology because it felt to me like the limits are far lower than they were before. So I joined the community and was just working on some funny things. And then someday I joined Karma, if you remember Karma app. 4 years ago, and that's where my journey as public blockchain, smart contract, etc. developer started. And then the Karma team.
And Karma, for anyone wondering, what is that?
Karma was the first social media platform on EOS.
That they shut down a year ago. It moved to Wax when Wax Mainnet was here as well, and then it shut down after a while.
Yeah. I don't want to talk evil about anyone or bad,
Okay,
but I left the team after a year or a year and a half, and literally the whole team left with me then. And yeah, over the last 3 years, then slowly became less and less until they shut it down.
Yeah,
it's sad because I think it was a great idea and it could have worked out.
It could have. Heinrich has a quick question, which I guess you should answer. Are you German?
Yeah, I am. I am German and living in Germany.
Yeah. So since Karma and now to Liquid, what's the path there?
Well, I was always here the last years. In between, I was CTO at the German blockchain company, mainly doing consulting and custom development. Was always working with the community, very active on EOS.io Stack Exchange. I'm a moderator there. I'm in contact with all the developers. Always like to help and advise, which I did over the last years. And at the end of 2020, I became super tired of my job and decided to fund my own company. And over the last years, I was always building prototypes for diverse things. I'm a developer and I love to solve problems and I love to build things that no one has built before. And one of my main goals was always already 2.5 years ago to build a game, but to build a real game, something that's better than the typical crypto card games where you breed this or that. And that's where everything started. I think it was 2.5 years ago where I made the second or third place in the Deb Network Hackathon, also with a gaming prototype, which basically had some of the same ideas as Liquid Universe today has. And yeah, 1 year, 2 months, 1 year, 3 months ago, I started Liquid.
And like we're mentioning Liquid Universe, we're mentioning building a game. A lot of people have probably not heard of Liquid Universe or know what the game is. Since you dropped that, I think it's good to go into it. And around us right now, the space aspect of this, that video with the planet spinning and everything is from your game.
Yeah, it is. Do you want me to go into the game directly to show it, or?
Yeah, why not? So people get a reference when we're talking about it.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, shout out to Root Mudcrab from the community. I'm playing with his character now, or his account. This is a clean account. It hasn't joined the game before, so I have to select my avatar. There are different factions and different species which come with different skill sets. They are not completely integrated yet, but for example, there is a pirate faction. If you are of the pirate faction, you can rob other players more often. If you are explorer, your ships are flying a bit faster than the others, etc.
Yeah.
So everything begins with selecting your avatar. Let me take this now. Register. That was when the first transaction was sent to the blockchain.
So everything here is on. Well, I was gonna say the blockchain, but that's not as simple. But we will get into that later. It's on a blockchain.
Yeah, everything in the game is decentralized and on the blockchain. There's no piece of central architecture, central infrastructure that we host. Even these small planets that you see here, they are procedurally generated on the blockchain, which is one of the weirdest things I've ever programmed. One of the ideas was
What
this
does like for anyone that is didn't understand what would that mean?
Oh, procedural mesh generation is hard.
Yeah, like
that's a tough thing.
the pitch, the elevator pitch, or what that is. Don't need to go into all the depths of the details at the moment, I guess, of the technical
typically in any game, if you have 2D or 3D assets, you have a designer which designs these assets before they are thrown into the game, before you use them in the game. So you have one 3D asset for a planet, you have one 3D asset for a spaceship, etc. As one of these meshes, every mesh of a 3D model basically just consists of points in space which are connected together. You can also create these meshes in code. You can say, hey, I want to have a sphere which is the sum of all these vertices connected to each other by triangles, and then you get this shape.
Yeah.
And that's what we are doing in a smart contract. Basically, this is basically a planet on the blockchain consists of 320 triangles, which together form this sphere. And each of these triangles can have a different height, different type. And this makes the smart contract the full brain of everything. The smart contract itself knows where there is wood, where there is a tree, where there are stones, where there's water, etc. And the main idea was to make the smart contract the brain. And I saw very early that this would allow us to build a lot of logic and algorithms on top of it. If the smart contract knows where there is a tree on a planet, the smart contract can, for example, validate if you are allowed to place a wood mine at a specific position.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but it's quite complex to do so. But it's something that makes our game much more interactive, much more fun, I think, and much more decentralized. Typically in most of these NFT games today, you don't really have this form of environment. You don't have an open
No, there's not
world.
much interactions. It's tables, forms, and just the web user interface usually.
Typically.
Yeah, it's not really a game in the sense of a game. It is like it can be tactical. The play to earn games, you can require some kind of engagement in some way, but it's not a traditional game as most people would call it.
Yeah,
but this seem like some kind of interaction. I have before went into this and I have picked around. I did a few buildings and things. So for anyone watching that want to know more, they just see a planet spinning now. What can you do here?
Basically, this is how every player starts. He gets his first planet. Now the goal of every player in the game is to build its own small empire, to grow his personal economy, his economical influence. So you start by saying, hey, I want to build whatever, an iron mine. See it here. It's a construct. You see the places where it can be built. You click on it. You see that it's only allowed to build it where there's stone. That was the second transaction.
Yeah.
And not sure if you noticed, but it's extremely fast. Whenever I interact with the game, if I now place a wood mine, if I soon click the button, the transaction is pushed to the blockchain. The smart contract validates it, the nodes are validating it, and then it's pushed back to the game via a subscription mechanism, and then it's visualized.
Yeah.
So it goes the full round.
And right now, do you run this on a mainnet or a testnet?
It's our private testnet currently.
Yeah.
Because it's much easier to redeploy and
and test things
data
and
stuff
like Nick asked how much RAM do you need for a contract for all these planets.
Quite a few megabytes. But that's also that mostly depends on how you design things. For sure, one of our biggest hurdles is to make it as less RAM consuming as possible.
Yeah. And for anyone that wonder, RAM is storage on EOS.io based blockchains like Wax, EOS, Proton, and so forth.
Yeah, but it's not as heavy as people think. If you work with the data in a relational way, where you have like templates in one table, and then you have instances in another table, or instances as child of your planet, and you reference the template via an ID, you can reduce the data needed by a lot. Okay, so once again, if I click the button, or if I click on this building now, that was it. It's milliseconds. It's like 100, 200 milliseconds until it went through and came back and is visualized, which is, I think, for most of the blockchain gamers, it's not that crucial. They are used to have a certain delay. But if you want to reach mass adoption, if you want to target traditional gamers, you need to build something that's super fluent, super user-friendly. And that's the way to go, I believe. So let me continue. You start to build these small buildings on your planet, which take some minutes until they are built. And once that's done, you can start to mine or produce resources that you then can start to use to build more buildings, build more spaceships, build more whatever, or you can use to trade with other players. That's like the core of the game is sustainable small economy. If you give me a second, I will switch the account and I can show you how it looks after you played for like a week or two.
Yeah, so since we have it all live, I guess that's it's hard to speed it up. So that's one great way. Are you using your account or are you using someone else for that?
We have some test accounts. I think it's 6A's and ZZ. That's a test account. Just a second.
And for the blockchain, to have all the transactions go this fast, I can't manually sign them because that would be a big delay on each thing you do. So is that something that will be automated? Is it something like when I do game actions, will that be something that you sign in your backend? Or will I be prompted with a wallet interface that I have to click to go into a building or upgrade it and things like that?
We will probably provide multiple ways to sign transactions. Oh, that's a bug. I'm sorry. Give me a second. That's the showcase. We will probably provide multiple ways to sign transactions. We are working on a plugin for ORID of Acon, which is a cloud wallet provider.
Yeah.
We are currently working on an integration for Anchor Wallet. There you would have to whitelist your transactions, but it comes with a delay. Then what we will propose for each player is to set a specific permission for in-game actions.
Yeah, custom permission.
Yeah.
Everyone should.
In-game.
Everyone, if you manage your own account, you should have a custom permission for every game you play.
Yeah. And you should set it so that you have, we call them non-value transferring transactions, or less value transferring transactions. And then we have value transferring transactions like sending a token or sending an NFT to someone else. This solution with setting a permission would allow players to store the key just for playing the game within the game, which reduces the latency tremendously, while still being relatively secure. If someone hacks your computer, someone steals your key from within the game, then he's able to play the game with your key, but he can't steal your funds.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
In the worst case,
And like as Nick is saying, you can't do it on all the games with the custom permission, and that is because for some reason some developers hard code at active when they do anything in their game or in their web interface and everything, and that is, in my opinion, very stupid, because you have to leave. Like, they don't understand EOS IO if they do that, because custom permissions is a key feature that
Absolutely.
is awesome to have access for. I have custom permission for all the games and all the tools I interact with. I just add them under one, as you say, non-value transactions. That's a great way to put it. If there is an action that doesn't have any way to take my value, like one example, as you said, is the transfer, but another one is the stake, which seems safe, but it's not safe if you add a transfer flag. So that is another one that could be dangerous. But yeah, custom permission, but leaving that optional, it sounds great.
Sure, absolutely.
Is that something you will help people with to like in the game when they log in? Hey, do you want to set this up?
Absolutely, yeah. Sure. There's a lot of things that we plan to develop, which are just not in there yet. Building a real game, 100% decentralized, and all the other things that we also do, just takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I also made a proposal to the EOS.io core group.
Yeah.
Core Plus for expiring permissions.
Yeah.
I think it's in there. I hope it will come. It will make these things a lot easier. If you can set a permission and say, hey, I want to create a permission for the next 2 hours, because I know I will play the game now for 5 minutes, and I will come back in 1.5 hours and play again for 5 minutes. And then after 2 hours, this permission is just expiring. It's not usable anymore. Even if someone steals your keys, she can't act harmful. That would be great to have. Yeah. So let me continue. Yeah. This is how it looks after like a week or a week and a half. You can see I have a few more buildings here. The colors changed because some of them are currently recovering. Some, like this one, has produced something which I now can claim. Yeah, this is also recovering. So now I could say, hey, yeah, let me claim all my resources. You can see, yeah, they are ready again. Which one is that? This one. Oh. This one. Now I can start to mine again. So.
And there you choose minutes. You choose how long it is, and there is a max cap, or I can't put it to create or to mine for 10 years, I guess.
No. First of all, the full game is strategy. You have to carefully decide what you do when.
Yeah.
So if you know you need 5 iron bars or something like that, you potentially only want to produce 5. If you are just someone who tries to mine as much as possible, you will probably hit the max button, you produce, then you know you have to repair it again after a certain amount of time. There are diverse things in place which allow us to scale the whole economy and to continuously scale it. Currently, what you see is just a demo environment, a demo economy that we have in place just for testing and in our development environment. The real economy later, when the game launches, will be much bigger, much more refined, and all this allows us to create real difficulty curves, real challenges, challenging gameplay experience like you have it in other real centralized games.
And before we move on, we have a few questions that we can, since you brought it up. When do you think people can start to play this? Do you have a live date set, or do you have an
I hate to
roadmap
to give timelines, we wanted to start our next demo like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But sometimes you encounter this or that issue, or you think this or that is not perfect. Let's change it. Let's rework whatever. And then you have a delay of 2-3 weeks. We are still currently, our goal is to launch the next demo so that people can play and see what they will invest in.
And that is still on your private testnet.
That will be potentially on our private testnet, yeah. Because it's much easier for us to analyze the data afterwards, and it's much easier to fix bugs and to track everything.
Yeah.
I hope, I can really only say I hope we will be ready with the next demo within the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. So soon, but
Yeah.
soon as in weeks, not
Soon.
as in months,
Soon.
as wax could be.
Soon.
And do you have a Telegram or Discord community? Is what someone asked. Where do you have people go if they have questions or want to know more?
We have a group on Telegram. Oh, I forgot the name. I think it's Liquid Universe.
Yeah, it's
Liquid
not
Universe
linked
demo.
on your website, but I am in one of your groups, in the
I think
demo
it's-
group. But that's I don't know if
I think
that's the
it's
same one.
private.
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
the private one.
I think we should open up a group. Yeah, you're right.
There will be a link under this video if anyone is watching
Yeah.
this after, so that's good.
Yeah, I think that's the best way.
So this is all new. A few people have been invited to test it out to help you notice things that need to be fixed.
To be honest, I think we made the old demo group private because there are a lot of leaders of the community in there which don't like to be disturbed on a daily basis. And we don't want it to create a chat where everything is about when Moon, when Coin, when NFTs, when APR, whatever. We wanted to talk tech. And we will soon open a group for the general community.
Nice. And you have a Twitter people can go and follow, and when you have when you have a chat for people to find you, I guess you will also link it there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I shared the Twitter in the YouTube chat, so, and it's in the description. But yeah, sure. Let's move. So you now produce, and then you start to get iron.
Sure. Again, it's incredibly fast, and you start to produce. This time it takes 10 minutes, and my output
so
is
it takes
15
iron ore to create 1 iron bar.
Yeah. In this case, in our demo economy,
exactly.
one of the ideas, one of our thoughts was to create value chains like you have them in the real world.
Yeah.
You dig a hole in the ground to find some stones, and then you crash them to get some metal out of them, and then you create some steel, and then you refine the steel and whatever. Then at the end, someday you have some electrical pieces or whatever that you then can use. Internally, we often call this whole procedure of going through these value chains proof of work in gaming, because in the end, the user is doing something. He's working for a while until you reach this specific level of a specific resource or a good in game. So you start really with digging in the ground, and after a few days, you have a piece of whatever, glass or cockpit for a ship or whatever that allows you then to build the next nice NFTs.
Yeah.
Let me show you a few other things. We have a template engine which allows us to add more and more of these planet types. So unlike other games, this game is completely extendable, expandable. And the goal is to long-term add new planets, new resources, new buildings, new parts to the value chain, so that you have an ever-changing environment and players have to adapt. If there is a new planet coming with new buildings that consume copper, then it should increase the demand for copper. So players have to adapt. They have to build more copper mines. They have to trade more copper. Copper price will increase and stuff like that. So the initial planet types will probably be these that you currently see: Earth-like, desert, lava, and ice-like, ice planets. But we are already in contact with other projects and different ideas for integrating different scenes, like a cannabis planet or LGBTQ planet or whatever, magic planet.
Yeah.
Every time comes with new resources, new things to produce and mine, which I think will be really interesting long term, because people really have to play. They have to.
And when you add a planet, as you said, you have more resources, and then other people, like those resources will be needed to create something, and people want them, and
yeah.
And like, how much time do you think people can expect to put into this daily to play it? I mean, right now we see this takes 10 minutes, or you can go for an hour, or like, I guess this is all in your test environment. What's the plan later? Do you expect people to be here all day, or is this something you take up on your phone during your work day? Or
in general, the idea is to build a game which you play like 5 to 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
So like a traditional mobile game, which you play at work when you take a break, or you play it before going to bed for 5 minutes, or when you're sitting in the subway. 2 or 3 times a day.
But we know that doing something for 5 minutes before we go to bed usually means 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, that depends. I think there are a number of browser-based games which did this really good, defining and scaling difficulty curves in a way that you really spend 5 to 10 days 2 times a day.
Yeah. So this is a storage shard. What is that?
There are not only these buildings which are there to produce or mine things. We also have these special buildings, storage yard, power plant, research facility, which how do I tell that? To build specific other buildings, you first need to have, for example, a storage yard on level 1 or 2.
An MMORTS, it's like a massive multiplayer online real-time strategy game. They are usually based where you start with basic stuff, then you research things, you get more buildings, you upgrade them, you get sometimes you get an army and you go out and battle, or you just create more economy, and then there's collaboration with other players, and you build a guild or a group, and you trade within your group, and then you try to complement each other. And it's this big ecosystem where a big aspect of these games is the community that you play with. There are a lot of examples of this online already.
Guilds I guess research another topic in our game. Completely different topic. We can let's talk about it in a few minutes.
Yeah.
These special buildings are also part of the difficulty curve. If you want to store a specific amount of resources on your planet, you need the storage yard on a specific level.
Yeah.
With each new level, the amount of storage you have is growing. Same for the power plant. If you want to have like 20 different buildings, you need power plant on a different level. So it's, again, you have to think strategic. You have to build your small economy in the best way. Which is gameplay. You haven't seen any ships yet. These are still prototypes. In the regame, in the end, they will look relatively similar. We are adding more details currently, and they will be modular. So each ship will consist of 4 individual pieces: cockpit, chassis, engine, wings. and then some of them will have weapons, some of them will have extra modules, and players of the game will first build these individual parts, and then you throw them together and build your own ships that way.
Yeah.
Again,
so this one perhaps has 6 different slots for weapons, and you can put these turrets on them or something else.
Yeah. This one is again just in our demo environment.
Yeah, but that's the concept, if I understood it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And like for when we have bows, we have weapons. Is that PvE, PvP? What's the plan there? What's the weapons for?
We are planning multiple combat modes, but that will not be part of the initial first version. That will take a while.
Yeah.
One mode will be that you kind of have intergalactic war, where you or your guild can wage war with another guild, and then you are allowed to fight other planets. So you can damage the buildings on another planet, and the other guild, players of the other guild, have to repair their buildings more often, and they can produce less and stuff like that. That's one combat or war mode that we want to build, and the other one will be a battle royale like thing, where like 150 players join a map, and then they start to fight each other, and the last 5 or last 10 win something. But that's hard to build, because if you want to do it in a decentralized way, it means you have to push 150 transactions per second, which is ridiculous and super expensive. But we think there are ways to build it completely decentralized while making it super less expensive. If you group transactions together, or if you build something like a roll up, you can reduce the number of transactions to just a few a second, like 2, 3, 4 transactions for 150 players, which then becomes very cost efficient and still super fast compared to other games and other blockchains. But as I said, that will take a while. We are working on prototypes. It starts with decentralized WebRTC signaling, to allow players to connect through WebRTC with each other without any centralized server that we have to host. Which alone is a challenge.
So we will connect between ourselves. But okay, so this game, what's the next step is to have people actually come and play it. They can build buildings, they can upgrade, and that's on likely on your testnet. And when you have more feedback, more data, you plan to launch this. And okay, so what we see right now is the solar system.
There's so much that you haven't seen. So you start to build your small economy. Then at some point you have enough resources to trade them for other resources or for in-game currency for sure. Which looks like this. Currently, I can say, hey, I have some wood. I want to offer 5 wood, and I want to get some copper in return. Update. It's pushed onto the blockchain. Someone else could now fill my order. If they think it's a nice deal. Then we have currency for resource trades. So I could say, hey, I want to. I have to choose a resource first. I want to offer some wood, and I want to get. Sorry, pressing the wrong button. Okay, I want to get
good user
0.
testing
0.
there.
But development is so fast. There's every day there are new changes. It's so hard to follow. We are testing like every end of the week.
But so this is like an auction house or some kind of like you post a trade and people can accept it or not.
It's basically a marketplace. You also have to build this marketplace building on your planet first. To be able to offer things. You can always fill offers of other players, but to be able to offer, you have to build your marketplace first.
Yeah.
So this is the place where good players can start to earn tokens, passive income, active income in this case. If they do a good job and play well, they might have resources that others need and that others pay for. So trading happens either in the solar system or it happens in the galaxy view. This every single star in here is solar system.
Yeah.
And I think this galaxy currently consists of 25,000 planets or something like that. Around 6,000 or 7,000, no, 2,000 2,000 solar systems. The maximum that we tested was 130,000 planets. The cool thing again is that this whole universe is growing. This whole galaxy is growing like a real galaxy. You can see that it's growing like a spiral.
Yeah.
And whenever there is a new planet created, it's added to the end. And after a while, it looks more and more like a real galaxy.
Yeah.
Again, one thing that we do different than most of the other games that just sell some land and create rarity that way, or try to create rarity by defining a specific amount of land and then just selling it. Because we believe if you do that, you are limiting the gameplay right from the start, which doesn't make sense. If you limit the environment in your game directly from the start to 100 fields or 200 fields or 3 planets or whatever, I personally, in the most cases, don't see a chance for mass adoption. How do you want to have the masses adopt your game if you limit the environment right from the beginning?
Yeah, I guess some of the when they limit the amount, that is for the start, and they also are open to add more in the future. And they also, like, one planet doesn't necessarily mean one user. It can be one planet has a lot of different lands, and each land can be broken down into other aspects. And land is one part of the game where a lot of users can be on top of it and don't have to have their own land or their own planet, I guess.
I know few projects try to get their way around by subdividing the land, the environment again and again to allow more players to play or to own something.
Yeah.
I personally, we believe growing environments are the better solution. The next thing you can do as a player, if you own planets in the game, is you can just lend them away. So I could say, hey, I have this desert planet. I want to lend it away to any other player who wants to borrow it for whatever price. Next step, where players will be able to earn passive income. Then trading within the game, or everything in the game, takes time. Building something, mining something, but also trading. As there's a distance between planets and your ship has a specific speed, it sometimes takes hours, it sometimes takes days. A few people were quite annoyed in our last demo because it took like 3 days for some trades. So we decided to allow players to add more warp gates to their planets.
Yeah.
So I just constructed one. You can see it's flying around here around my planet. And now other players could say, hey, I want to use Corvin's warp gate for my trade because it reduces the time from 2 days to just 20 minutes. Because, warp gate distance much smaller.
Yeah.
And I would like to pay 10 liquid tokens for it. The next part in the game where you can earn passive income by building things that others use. Then we have this section of challenges. Demo environment only has currently these level challenges, but there will be also token challenges where you just have to accomplish things. You have to a list of tasks, and then you will be
like
rewarded
achievements
for it,
and things like that,
and stuff like that. Then we have there's quite a few bugs. We have the sections for guilds and players, which will be a huge section. So the one of the ideas is to, well, let me start different. We always try to think of all this as normal game developers. We try to build a game instead of NFTs and something around our NFTs. So we are always asking ourselves, what does a great game need? And it starts with UI, UX, seamlessness, interaction possibilities, but also ways to collaborate, to build a community, to meet your friends, to interact with each other. So that's where guilds come in place. And the idea is to offer either you and your group of friends a small space, or projects from diverse communities. So whatever, EOS USA and Michael could come into the game and say, hey, we start our own EOS USA guild. Each guild is like a small duck or DAO, where people can build things together, they can govern these things together, they can earn passive income together, they need to collaborate, they can even place their own advertisements on their own guild-owned assets and stuff like that. This is currently under development, but the idea is, for example, that you join a guild with your friends or your community, and then you decide to build a guild-owned scrapyard.
Yeah.
People can send their ships there to deconstruct these ships. When a guild builds a guild-owned scrapyard, every member of the guild gets a fractional NFT. This fractional NFT then allows them to vote for adjustments according to this scrapyard. So they could say, hey, if someone wants to deconstruct his ship in our scrapyard, he has to pay 1 liquid token or 10 liquid tokens. They vote for it, they adjust it. They could say, hey, we want to move this guild-owned scrapyard to a different place in space because there are more active players or more active players with old spaceships. So they vote again, they move it there or not, etc. That's the base idea, but in combination with advertisements, passive income, different DAC or DAO structures where you can choose different consent mechanisms, where you could say, hey, always the 10 best players can decide on something, or 51%, or 2/3 plus 1, or a fixed set of custodians.
Yeah,
whatever.
So there will be the guilds is this part, and will there be like a communication way inside the interface, or will they be pushed towards their own way of communication?
There will be a chat.
Yeah,
there will be a chat. But again, as always, fully decentralized, or WebRTC, decentralized WebRTC signaling is in progress. But it will come, and then the chat will come too. We are really after building something that no one will be able to take away from our players. You see it so often that projects either rug pull, or they are hacked, or maybe in the future the governments will say, hey, we don't allow this game or this application. And the way we build it, once you have the application on your phone or your desktop, no one will be able to take it away.
the chats and everything, since they will be decentralized and not on your server, how will they be private, or will they not be private? What's the idea there?
WebRTC is peer-to-peer protocol.
Yeah.
But you can also connect to multiple peers, which means if you connect within the group, you can either forward messages encrypted to other players, or you can directly connect to all of them. Or you have like 1 or 2 people in the guild which can kind of host a WebRTC, internal WebRTC server, like main host or something like that. So WebRTC itself is private if you encrypt your data, which is relatively easy. The problem is just the signaling process. For WebRTC signaling, you typically need a centralized server, which means someone needs to host the server. So we could either say we search for different parties to host it for us, whatever, different block producers or other projects, or we find a solution that doesn't even need a centralized server. So we are working on something that allows to do this signaling without any centralized infrastructure.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So we have the chat. This is the guild set. We have all the building and everything. So what's more in this? What do people need to know before deciding if they want to do this, or before they jump into testing? Is there anything else they need to know?
That's a good question. Anything? I don't think so. I think what's crucial for me to let everyone know is that this is not the typical crypto NFT game. Most of these games out there, in my eyes, are gamified collectibles, or they are completely centralized services with NFTs, high FPS games where you can buy skins and stuff like that. We are trying to do different. We are trying to build something that really empowers players, that really makes benefit of all the things that come with decentralized and blockchain technology. For me personally, it means giving away power to the community, making things transparent, making things validatable, immutable, and all that. That's something crucial for me personally, I would say. No one knows if this thing works out the long term.
No, they don't.
No one knows. No one knows for any other project. And it sounds stupid, but I'm always trying to be fair. We are giving our best, definitely. And I think we are inventing a lot. And we're doing it the right way by building a product first. We have spent a tremendous amount on this game so far. We are working on it for a year. There was no sales so far, nothing. While literally any other project in this whole space does it completely different. Save first, then build. So
let's bring us back to a chat. So stop the screen share, and people can see us again properly, and we can go back into what you guys are actually. So you also, to finance this, I guess you run your business, and one part of that is running your guilds. You get funds that way to do this project. How big is your team that are working on this?
My team is currently 13 people. 2 artists, someone for marketing and social and stuff like that, which is slowly coming. Our social and marketing is not that well so far. What we are preparing a lot to then finally roll it out with a boom and showing off what we have. And the rest of the team are developers. We have 2 students, so it's 11 plus 2, because education also something that matters a lot. But I'm looking for more developers to extend the team. There's so much work to do. On diverse ends. I mean, we have So far, we have, I think, 18 or 19 repositories on GitHub, because we are not only developing this game, we are also developing plugins and SDKs. We are doing custom development. We are doing consultation for other projects which try to find their way into the space. We are being an active block producer, so we have to maintain our infrastructure and all that. I personally see Liquid as the company as an ecosystem builder.
Yeah.
We are trying to be the company that provides the necessary tools for any game developer out there to build on a public use.io blockchain.
These SDKs that you're building, is that something that you have open source, or something that you will publish, or something that you sell?
Yeah, everything is open source. Yeah. The game will also be open source. It's currently not, because it's so active in development, and we don't want to show off things now because we don't want others to steal it. But
yeah,
sure, all our SDKs and plugins are open source.
And if anyone want to find, like, okay,
it's
how
GitHub.
do you build your game, by the way? Is it in Unity, right?
Yeah, it's in Unity.
So the SDKs are for Unity and for people to incorporate them, and so people know that. Exactly. And then yeah, where on GitHub can they find them?
The GitHub account is Liquid.io. Liquid, 2 I's, IO, without space. Liquid.io.
Yeah, I will link that. I think you had another GitHub on your website link.
Yeah, we had Liquid Studios a while ago.
Yeah.
The way the company started was being a blockchain gaming studio, and over time, the whole idea for Liquid as a company evolved so much that we decided to call it Liquid as like the mother company, and the game development part is one part, which is like the old Liquid Studios. And then we will have Liquid Consulting, we will have Liquid SDKs, and potentially other things in the future. We thought a while about the right name, and in the meantime, I really like that we are trying to give liquidity and the word liquidity a different meaning. It so often in this space, liquidity is just connected to the financial industry. Liquidity.
Yeah.
But if you play around with it a bit, you can put a different meaning behind this word. It could mean something like interacting with others, like the liquidity in human collaboration. It could be something like extensible. It could mean something very inclusive, things like that. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah, and like, so going back to what you guys are trying to build, so you have this consulting service where you actually help people do these kind of things, and then you do it yourself, and everything you build for yourself or for others as well, you publish open source, because you have a strong core belief that this is something that needs to be done, I guess, to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is awesome.
Unfortunately, in this crypto space, most people make use of traditional Web3 patterns and Web3 languages. Solidity, JavaScript is the typical. There are not many developers out there which use things like Java or C#, unfortunately. And there's a lot missing. So we are trying to fill that gap. And I think it was a year ago or 9 months ago, I decided to whenever we build something, because we need it, we should just put a few more days into it and make it a public, open source, free of charge tool available for everyone. Why not? It helps growing the ecosystem.
Yeah.
It allows others to find their way into it, and to me it's clear that we know how to do it the right way. Things like that we use Diffuse currently for the pub sub model and being notified about every interaction that happens within the game. That's such a crucial part that most of the people don't understand because they are coming from the Web3 space. Typically,
And
most
why
of
do
the,
you use a diffuse and not straight from a ship node?
and not one?
A ship node, state history. Why don't you use the state history node and read directly from that instead of
Ship node
diffuse?
is a little bit slower. And a ship node also means you would have to send the full block to the client. And then the client would have to deserialize the full block. And ship node WebSocket endpoints are not made to be public for everyone.
No.
So typically, every block producer I know, they don't have them public.
No.
So no one would probably do that. And if only we make them public and open for our game, that would again be pretty centralized, right? The problem with Diffuse is that currently only one company is hosting it.
Yeah, it's very expensive to run and complicated if you want to include everything.
We are also working on a I call it Diffuse Lite service, like Diffuse, with a lot less overhead, a lot cheaper to host, but same performance, same query capabilities. I hope the first alpha will come within the next 2 months or something like that. A lot is already done, but what the team of Diffuse did there is really, it's a beast. It's heavy. So
yeah, I mean Hyperion is heavy to run, but Diffuse is even worse. Is what I heard. We don't run that ourselves.
We are running Hyperion and we are running Diffuse internally. But there are a few things missing in Hyperion. The streaming capabilities of Hyperion are not really reliable. Sometimes the streams work, sometimes not. Sometimes they just close and stuff like that. They are not as fast. And what's also missing is that Diffuse catches every single delta that happens within a transaction. Ship only catches like the end delta. As an example, if you send one transaction which sends an inline action sending me 1 EOS or 1 wax, then I send back 1 wax to you also as an inline action. The delta at the end would be 0. Right? That's what Ship records. Ship doesn't know that there was +1, +1, -1.
Yeah.
Diffuse knows. And for games, it's crucial. It's crucial that you know every individual piece and can visualize it. So we are working on a solution, and I'm relatively sure that quite a few block producers will host them.
Yeah, that's nice.
So far
and building these tools is so essential. And you guys are building not only on Wax but on multiple blockchains. So which EOS.io based blockchains are you planning to incorporate from the start?
I can't speak about all of them, but we will definitely integrate Wax and EOS.
Yeah.
Wax is our biggest supporter, absolutely. Thank you to the Wax community for.
And you also got a grant on Pomelo, right?
Yeah, we got a grant on Pomelo, and we also got a grant from the EOS Nation Foundation.
Yeah.
EOS Network Foundation.
Yeah.
Not one of the 100K. So we will definitely launch on Wax and EOS.
Yeah.
As they are both our biggest supporters, but we are in talks with other chains. In general, long term, the idea is to have the Liquiid Universe, which consists out of different Liquid galaxies on different chains.
Yeah.
And one day we hopefully have IBC between different EOS.io based chains. And then you could have a specific economy on EOS and this specific different economy on Wax, and potentially there's demand for specific resources that you have on Wax on the EOS chain, and on EOS there's demand for Wax specific resources, and you can build this global game through diverse chains, which would be super cool long term.
Yeah. So Proton and Ultra and other fun chains like that. Yeah, that's cool.
We are always saying we are multi-chain. We want to launch it on other chains, but if a chain wants us to launch it on their chain, we need at least so much support that we can make it not completely free to play, but that we can sponsor a decent amount of transactions on that chain.
Yeah, because you will be rather CPU heavy with a lot of these actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you plan to solve that on Wax and EOS, which has two different systems as of now?
On Wax, it's relatively simple. As we are a block producer, we have CPU.
Yeah,
a lot. We have a lot of Wax and we have a lot of CPU, and we are trying to spend as less Wax as possible to be able to provide as much CPU as possible.
Yeah.
There will be a solution where we co-sign transactions and where we have a specific amount of free transactions per day per player. Like
so 5. What Alien World does now.
Yeah.
And while Atomic Hub is doing it, and there's NFT Hive, I think, is doing it for some users, and there are a few others.
Yeah, for sure. And on EOS, we will see how many transactions we can provide, or if we come into a paid spot somewhere or somehow, place 60 or something like that. I mean, even if you have the last spot on EOS, the last paid spot as a block producer, that means 150 EOS a day or something like that.
I think it's around 100.
That would also be like plenty of transactions that we could sponsor our users with. But we will see. I mean, the other option is if we do an NFT sale on EOS and people buy the NFTs, then we can stake the EOS and earn passive income that we then can spend on transactions. We will see.
Yeah, but you have some solutions that you're trying to figure out how to best implement. But Absolutely. It sounds like you already have the Wax situation somewhat solved. Since you are a guild, you run infrastructure, and you do get Wax tokens.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is nice. So, like, who do you think is the gamer that wanna play this game? Who do you see as a end user?
I think for sure the crypto gaming scene, people who like to collect NFTs, who love this decentralized space just because they share the same belief system and stuff like that. But I also think if you follow the general development of the gaming scene, more and more traditional gamers are tired of how the gaming scene evolves. Microsoft buying Activision and stuff like that. All these big global players are trying to find their way into this space. Amazon has its own gaming wing, and my feeling is that slowly more and more gamers also try to find other ways to play without supporting these sometimes malicious companies and
but like I think most traditional gamers, they just want to have fun. They want to play games that are fun, that their friends are playing. They go online and they play together, and as soon as there is something new that is more fun or has a bigger competitive scene or has something new, fancy and shiny, they go there, and if it's fun, a lot of people stay, and some people just move on to the new and shiny thing. But I think, like, I don't know. Mobile gaming is growing, and personally I hate mobile gaming. I don't use my phone unless I have to, pretty much.
Why
But I am of the person, like, I have a desktop, I have 3 monitors here. Why would I want to sit with a phone and game when I can game here and have fun? And when I'm not on my phone, I should be doing something else anyway.
we are targeting every individual, every single operating system out there.
Yeah.
We already have builds for Android, iOS, WebGL, Mac, Linux, and Windows. And soon, once we are done with the demo, we will try to get builds out for Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox.
That will be interesting.
Just because we want to allow every individual player to play this game, and we also want to show off that it's possible. And there's no reason not to do it. It's not too hard if you know how to. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's mandatory to allow different kinds of players to join the game.
And will there be a web-based one as well, or is it a native client only when it's released?
All of them.
So the player has
Android,
their own
iOS
option.
is native, Windows is native, Linux is native, and the WebGL, the web client is, it's browser WebGL.
Yeah, exactly. So for a new well, for a player, they can choose their own way of doing it. I mean, for me personally, downloading anything that interacts with the blockchain or built by blockchain teams is a little bit scary, because you download it on your device, and it's nice to test something in a web first, or you test it in a VM, and then you can't really do any fancy graphics or things like that, or you need your separate testing machine just to be safe, because we do have I'm not saying that this is just in general. We do have the malicious programs that say they are wallets, or download this wallet and install it, and in reality it's not so much of a wallet, more of a thief.
Absolutely.
It's very scary. But although I guess the performance of the application is better if you install it natively.
It doesn't differ that much. WebGL is currently not supported on Android and iOS, so you have to download the app.
Yeah.
I think for you and me, as people from the crypto space, heavily concerned about security and all that, this will always feel weird. Downloading software without seeing. It's
like when I downloaded the Forge Arena the other day. It's a launcher. I have to download an exe file and install it and everything. Very scary. Even though I see other people playing the game, it is a game. It is still. I know that I have some private keys on this machine, although I don't have all of them. It is still scary.
Yeah, but I think for traditional gamers, which maybe have like 10, 20 euros or dollars within the game in value, they will not be that scared.
No, majority of people don't care.
And I also think we can do a good job that way by providing the necessary knowledge and teaching people about what's really happening and where things are secure and which are not, and which things to look out for and whatever.
And one way to do that is to actually have custom permissions on your account that you use to interact with the game, which is very nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you said that this game is playable within weeks from now as a new kind of beta, if everything goes as it should. And
I hope so.
And like, okay, best case world, everything goes as you plan, as you hope. We have a new beta coming in 4 to 6 weeks that people can play on your private testnet. When do we see the first live action on a blockchain?
The plan currently is to release the initial version end of Q2, or maybe middle of Q3, and then to continuously develop and expand it. There are so many features and ideas we have. It's just missing manpower, missing money, and I'm pretty sure they will come. Things like the combat modes and all that. but I think it's crucial to have this a very solid core, this solid core with an economy, sustainable, scalable, the right things in place to govern the game. If there's, for example, too much wood mined so that it's super inflationary and wood is worthless, there should be a way to scale down the amount of wood that is mined on a daily basis. So someone needs to take these decisions, and we have a DAO contract around the game where elected players will be able to scale the economy into different directions. These things
How do they get elected? Is it by the game token or
yeah. There will be different mechanisms for voting. So there will be like a traditional DAO token weighted election where people vote for custodians, and these custodians can take different decisions. Then we will also add a voting mechanism for features, which are direct token voting without custodians in between. And then we have this other governing principles for guilds, as they are also small DAOs and DAOs. All this can create, I think, a really interesting environment and gameplay altogether.
So for all of this, how do the web version, I guess you will host yourself, but everything else, the idea is that you will open source it. People can go and help you in the future, or they can take over if you by any reason stop.
We will open source everything, and even
the web version, how will that be hosted? Is it inside your team, or
we will probably put it on an IPFS server, just with every new version, and in addition, we will for sure host it to make it faster when it comes to downloading it and stuff like that. But once it's on IPFS, it's there. We can't take it. We can't delete it, right? And once someone else downloaded it, they can also just host it on their own if they want to.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you looking at any of the blockchain-based file systems as well for it, or IPFS mainly?
I'm not sure. I think we will just put it on IPFS.
Yeah.
On the different different hosters or different IPFS services. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's good. I mean, I did follow the Sia coin movement for a while, which ironically have changed the name. I just lost the name they changed to, but they did swap the name, and that is a decentralized storage solution using proof of work and proof of stake, which is interesting.
But from what I heard, it doesn't work that well.
No, probably doesn't. Like everything else.
I mean, there's also the BitTorrent thing from Justin Sun Tron Network.
Yeah.
Also doesn't seem to work that well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Future will tell where decentralized storage will go.
Yeah, but it's relevant for sure. I mean, we have been chatting now for a long time. We have been on talking, showcasing the game. People are aware of what is happening. We answered a few questions. So for people to find out more about you, your website is linked in the description, your Twitter and everything. You will set up a chat so people can gather and ask some questions. Is there anything else we didn't dig into right now that we should mention before we take part?
I think that's it for now. Yeah, I think that's it for now.
For game updates, will you push on Medium so people can follow that, or what's the most common way for you?
We will scale up our public engagement with communities on Twitter, on Facebook, on Medium, all that. Also soon.
Yeah. So yeah, so people know the best place to actually go and find relevant new information.
I think the best place for now is Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter, Medium. Yeah.
Crypto
And
place.
always, if someone has problems while developing its own game or needs some help here and there, don't hesitate to contact me on Telegram. It's CMADH_.
Yeah, and then the same thing on Twitter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you are building on Unity, you have your SDK on Unity. Is there? Have you worked with Unreal or anything like that? Also, if anyone want some help.
We basically want to do the same that we did with Unity over the last year with Unreal in the future. We decided for Unity because this kind of game and our target group typically uses Unity. But we definitely plan to extend everything we do for Unreal and potentially also things like Godot or the Amazon gaming framework in the future.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like in your GitHub, you have a bunch of repos. There is one called Bounty Block Unity 3D. Is that the one for Unity, or
yeah?
Did you build that for the Bounty Block team?
That was one of the easier ones, to be honest. It's integrating Bounty Blocks API, Bounty Blocks C# into Unity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have one for EOS.io and everything.
We have pretty much everything. Currently, the one for Anchor Wallet is still in the works. That's quite complex. But we have Diffuse GraphQL. We have Atomic Assets and Atomic Market. We have a Hyperion client. We have EOS Sharp, which we took over from the Scatter guys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nathan James, and which we are maintaining now. And hopefully more to come in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if there's something missing, if people think there's something crucial we should put on our roadmap, reach out. Let's talk about it. Let's see. There are a few projects like DeFi Box, Gamebox, which we also had talks to. EOS DAC, for example, an integration into Unity would be nice, so that every game in the future can easily integrate DAC DAO UI, like a white label solution. So there are still a few things missing.
There was I think there is a proposal up on Wax Labs for an SDK for people to use.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and it's for Unity, Wax SDK, and training modules. So I think that is it is a lot of people that would want this. So
absolutely, I'm already curious what these guys will bring.
Yeah, that's very nice.
We will see.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on. Is there anything last thing that you want to share or point people towards?
I would say my last words are I'm happy to invite everyone to join like our Liquid Universe, the space, which hopefully provides a lot of value to players in the future, to players and communities. I invite you all.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I've tested it. I intend to test it more in the next phase, so I can get a feel of the changes. And Nick in the chat was looking forward to it, and a few others. So that's awesome. And I'm sure a lot of people are excited to get more games and more interactive games that are actually fun to play and that you get back to. Because it's entertaining and you have a community built around it and everything. So that sounds awesome. Thanks for coming on, and for anyone wanting to find more information, it's linked in the description, so you can go and dig into this and keep up with everything.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, and
I hope to come back someday.
Yeah. Let's hope everything goes according to plan, and we are all playing this in the midsummer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
A Bitcoin bull is all I got left. Sold my clothes, gold no less.